like the Lord Wings. I like the Lord Wings. And chocolate milk.
Oh God.
Well, this is the Hobbit.
Battle of the Five Armies.
Yeah, that's the full name of
You
it.
know that thing. The giant climax movie.
It wasn't bad.
And it wasn't
I'm
bad.
gonna get
no.
that right out of the way at first.
No.
It was actually a very good movie.
We're just
It
probably
was
gonna be talking
shorter,
about stuff is all.
but also really fast paced.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
it went by quick.
I don't know why it went by that fast. Honestly, I'm sitting there. I'm like, wow, this feels like it's been half an hour. It was only 2 hours, which was shorter than the
half
other
the movie's
films.
nothing but action. It's a
Yeah.
giant fucking climax
It
of a
was
movie.
Awesome.
Uh,
I have to say this also right now because I feel really bad about it. But so I tell Sam I have to use the restroom.
oh,
So I get up,
Oh,
I
poor
walk
Mark.
out.
Poor
I
Mark.
walk out of the theater. I go down the hall. I go use the restroom. I get back. Smog is falling out of the air.
By the way,
And I'm like,
spoilers for all in this movie. By the way, spoiler free for all. Yeah, and plus, if you read the
Yes.
book, you know what happens.
just Smog is well. This happens within the first like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah,
They
Smog.
killed him, like, just-
Smog is like out of the movie, like done.
Like,
Cumberbatch still
I'm
gave a
watching
few
this,
lines.
and I'm like, okay, well, obviously they're not going to go that quick with like the climax of like one of the big bads of the series.
I also don't want to
So,
make it sound like being a dick when I say this. It really was one of the better scenes in the movie too. So
I know.
yeah,
But the problem is, I walk right out of the theater. I come back. Smog's falling out of the air. I sit back down. I'm like, I missed it, didn't I? And
Yep.
Sam's just like,
yeah. I mean, it was that I didn't expect it to be in the movie that long. I expected it at least a little long, at least like 5 extra minutes. But he's like, and okay, we see him in like for like I don't know. I want to say almost like just 10 minutes, maybe 10 or 15. I was expecting maybe like 20 at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got the mountain. Anyone who's seen this probably read the book. So yeah, but they got the mountain, and now they're defending the mountain in lots of shit. And I didn't read. It's been years since I read the book.
Has gone crazy.
He's gone batshit. He's going batshit with dragon sickness. Sickness. Excuse me. Sickness. Which watching him go crazy for a while is really fun to watch, actually.
Kinda, yeah.
Because see, half the time you hear Smog's voice coming out of him because he's, I will not part with one single piece. I'm like, this is actually kind of hilarious to watch. Sad too, because we see this guy who's a good man, and then he goes batshit.
Yeah.
He gets saved at the end, but
Dwarf, so.
Yep. Man, I don't really know what this. Okay,
Well, let's start off with this. Kevin,
Yes.
what would you like to say at this point?
The battle took up a good portion. They actually used good strategic movement.
Oh yeah, we saw.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, we actually saw like phalanx and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
You know what actually reminded me of is I think they did a video game of this. I'm pretty sure where it was actually a strategic game where you create like armies for Middle Earth and stuff like that, and you can
one
play
of
as
them
like
maybe,
the elves or humans, stuff like that. It kind of felt like that.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. But no, you're right. You're right. There was a lot of good like strategic like implementing in that movie.
Yeah, and then the main villain was using a flag to control the army's movements. Like
I laughed. I laughed when I saw Azog the Defiler, because I'm like, oh look, he's got a different hand for occasion. This one's for war. The last one was also probably for war. It's just this was just more of a blade.
No, his last one was for when he's driving.
It's driving.
It was his driving.
Driving Miss Azog. I want to see that movie.
It's kind of like with Captain Hook and his different claws.
He's got a soup one, he's got one for driving, and he's got one for war. Whatever.
I want to see the bow one. Or it's
He's got a crossbow.
No, not even. It is literally just a bow he inserts.
No, you know what?
Should that be red already?
What should be red?
What are you looking at?
This?
The timer down at the bottom.
That's the way it reads. It's always red.
Oh, okay.
It's always red. You're fine. No,
I thought it was about
when this little icon here, my battery power goes to yellow, that's the problem. I charge it up. We got time. We're fine. Now I just imagine it like a hostile Gato. He's just got different fucking accessories for his hand.
Every time he says, "These doors will die. Let me change my claw."
I'm doing this for my mummy. Yes, mummy.
Speaking of which, I have to say, His claw, well, it's not
his
really.
blade now.
Throughout the entire film, it is actually a
Like
sword.
It's like almost like a scimitar almost.
That is a incredibly poor design.
Yeah.
Like, because of all the notches and grooves and
Its shape
everything
level's
else,
like a go nerdy
it
for a
can
moment.
very easily catch on
like
anything.
a Klingon battle axe
which
almost.
is exactly what happens. Is at one point, like, him and Thorn are fighting.
Thorn, son of
and
Thrain.
Thorn just goes, oh wait, ting, blocks it,
ting, ting.
and he's like, huh, your blade can't really move as long as I'm holding this here.
And see where they're fighting. I'm like, Arzak, I know you want to try to just smash him into a pulp, but you do realize he's causing you to break the ice that you were on and fall under the water. And then he just, you actually caught the fucking thing he threw at you, just slide into the water.
Yeah, that.
So they're like really.
And then we're just sitting there because we see him floating in the ice, and we're like, he's gonna break out. He's gonna break out. He's gonna break. Oh, look at that! He broke out of the ice.
Freaking stab him in the head already. And
They stabbed him in the foot.
See, therein lies part of the problem that I had there. Is that part of the fight sequence where he's doing the whole.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what he's swinging is he has like this long chain
with a giant
at the end of
on it.
Basically a cinder block.
Yeah.
And he's swinging that around trying to smash him. That part felt like, well, we can't have them just plain old sword fight because we did that earlier. But we need something to extend this fight for a while.
This is like the boss fight at the end of the Lord of the Rings game.
Well, that's what I mean. Is they need something to extend the fight, so they're like, this thing.
Ah, man. And then the other guy, that other orc, they actually had a name, but the one that Legolas had a grudge with, he took forever to fucking kill. He's more skilled than fucking Ozok, for God's sake. Throw him at Oakenshield.
Yeah, he took on a dwarf and 2 elves.
He took out he took out one dwarf on his own, kicked the crap out of an elf, and then Legolas finally stabs him in the head.
Which
Wow.
took a long time.
That took a long fucking time.
After walking on falling bricks.
He took down Tariella actually on her own.
Yeah.
Because she tried to like throw them off a cliff. He just walked it off. He's got like metal like literally embedded in his chest.
Yeah, actually that was next part is when the dwarf was fighting him, why wouldn't the dwarf just go,
kick!
Let me just hit him with like this stick, or even kick him. Just kick him in the chest and be like, oh hey,
for every
that blade just dug into his heart. Now he's dead.
For every strategic battle implemented in this movie, you had to have some moments where they're not thinking. It's the heat of battle. All the acting's perfectly fine. Thorn, my two favorite characters I said outside the car were Thorn and Bard. Both of them did, I think, the best job in the movie.
Yeah.
Bilbo just kind of stood there.
Legolas running up those falling blocks.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
All of us
I'm sorry. I leaned over.
Everybody in the theater was laughing.
Everyone was laughing their asses off.
I leaned over during that scene, and I told Brent, okay, so apparently Legolas, because I always used to see Michael Jordan do this, where he looks like he's running upstairs as he's about to do a slam dunk. I'm like, okay, so apparently Legolas is secretly Michael Jordan.
Now playing forward for the Woodland Elves, Legolas Greenleaf.
Slam.
I didn't know that his last name's Greenleaf. I laughed. I had to laugh at that. I'm like, your last name's Greenleaf. That's hilarious.
He's a wood elf. What the fuck do you want?
Because he's Greenleaf. Oh man.
Not Screenleaf.
I had time just like, hey, look at the tennis ball on the stick. I mean Orlando Bloom.
Although he did show more emotion in this than Lord of the Rings, which was pretty
Orlando
cool.
Bloom is hot.
If you say so.
Honestly, I didn't think he was too bad.
No, he wasn't. He was serviceable. He was serviceable.
In the last one, he was kind of an ass.
He was shoehorned in there,
and
too.
I was kind of getting annoyed with just his presence and the fact he was kind of an ass.
Yeah.
This time around, he actually served a purpose and made me, actually care about his character.
I cared more about him in this one than the last one.
Being there and everything else. Granted, at the same time, he's still not supposed to be there in terms of the books.
They were trying
Sell the tickets! Split the asses in the sea!
They were trying to show the tensity in the last one where he's being a dick. The tensity between dwarves and elves.
Man, trust me, his dad still has that.
Him, and they're all just like, we hate these people for like really no reason. They mentioned Legolas's mother.
Yeah, that was.
See, that's part of what I mean. Is just a lot of it is just really crowbarred in. Where it's like,
Here's another thing where I commented on this, and I literally just said I had no words for this scene. When the orcs are basically burrowing underground to flank the armies, how are they fucking doing this? Giant earthworms, hedron worms that dig through rock and eat giant fucking heat. I'm just like,
Who apparently are just
I look over to him, I'm
digging
like,
holes.
I got nothing for
they
this.
were just there for like digging holes. I thought they were actually gonna be used
Yeah, I'm like,
in a fight, and then it's like, phew,
You're
then they go back
like
in,
the Lord of the Rings.
and you never see them again. It's like,
yeah, that was
what's with
that's
the
a good point. I mean, you
worms?
apparently can control these enough to dig for you. You could probably use them for combat. They're big enough that they'd probably wipe out most of the army.
see, therein lies the point where I leaned over to Brent and I started quoting Dune.
They call them the
Just-
big ones.
We have worms sign here, the likes of which God has never even seen.
Hold on, let me get my shovel here.
No, because like I use worms in Magic. Those are one of my favorite creatures.
Yeah, Jesus, wow. And of course, I talked about the effects with you a little bit outside the car. For the most part, the effects work is still just as great as ever. Smog looked great for when he was on screen. My personal problem with the effects comes from anytime it's like fast-paced action, you can clearly see the green screen going on. At least for me. I'm just like, wow, that is so green screen now.
Well, one of the issues is that the vast majority of this movie, while it was really good, a lot of it can honestly just be broken down to this is padding.
Yeah, padding.
Because the vast majority
it's
of
a
it
fight.
is just padding.
We talked about it outside the car. This is
Yeah.
really supposed to be one movie. I think that you could have shortened the first one down, sliced the second one up a little bit, so combine what's part of the first with the second movie, and then add this on to what was left of the second movie. You would have had two perfectly fine movies.
Oh, yeah.
Well, therein lies the problem, is the fact that freaking this movie was just, like, the vast majority of it was supposed to be at the end of The Hobbit.
Yeah.
And in the Hobbit book, the fight doesn't go on very long. Like, they talk about it a little bit, but they don't go really in depth because it's there, but it is not fully focused on. Because, well,
I haven't read the book
the
in
big
years,
thing
so.
was basically smog.
What you got lying around my house?
Smog is like the big bad here, and so they mostly just focus on him. Then after he dies, they're like, oh, and then there was battle where like all these armies showed up to fight over who could control the mountain, and at the end the dwarves won.
Woo! But we got padding. Let's see. Let's
Machina.
Yeah, I made a there are so many Deus Ex Machina moments in this movie.
Oh,
There
God,
really are. Do you want to talk about the whole Sauron thing?
yeah.
Now, let's be clear. I can tell you right now, he is nowhere near as pissed in this one as he was in the second one. Because he's already expected it. So it's just like, okay.
See, Sauron is not, like, he does not show up in The Hobbit.
No, he does not.
At that point, J.R.R. Tolkien didn't even know that he would be continuing with this universe. That's why if you ever read The Hobbit, it is done in a much more kid-friendly way. Because that one was designed
Wolves
to be
talk in
a
that one, for
much
God's sake.
more kid-friendly book. It wasn't designed for adults. Well, then that took off. They decided to expand the universe. Hence, we got the Silmarillion, the Lord of the Rings, all that stuff.
Just don't want to drain the battery, so just
I understand.
on and off.
But that's part of the reason why we got all that. Well, Peter Jackson obviously had to extend it, so he included in, I think it's in one of the more obscure books, where they actually talk about, because during the book, Gandalf leaves for a while.
So where was Gandalf basically this?
And they
tells
actually
the
touch
tale
on that a
where
little
he
bit,
went.
but even then they don't go fully into it. They basically said he was dealing with something having to do with like the necromancer and dark powers. This
Well,
was clearly not a necromancer. They pretty much, even though they had to keep calling it that.
It's fine.
Okay.
My screensaver popped up, so it's fine.
Okay.
That happens sometimes.
But
you're still recording.
They kept calling it that, but it's Sauron.
Yeah.
And Sauron isn't supposed to be there. And I don't even like the fact that they really talk about what Gandalf was doing, because that's part of the appeal of him, is he is a mystery.
Let's just to touch on the second one really quick. When I first saw it, I'm like, let's be clear. just as within the second one, the scene that involves Sauron and Gandalf in that scene in Dol Guldur, right? Basically the Dol Guldur. Yeah. It's a cool, badass scene in all respects. It's just so fucking forced and shoehorned, though, that I'm finding it distracting. What happens is Gandalf is saved by Lady Galadriel, Elrond, and Saruman.
Yeah.
And they basically
And
fight.
Radagast.
Radagast kind of. Yeah, he comes in to help at the end.
Yeah.
Twice.
Well,
actually.
no, Radagast
Carried him
as
away.
Sam pointed out, he was like one of the first ones to show up.
Yeah.
Basically loaded him on the sled, went, okay, and we got to see
I'm
the
out,
bunnies
dog.
again.
So basically, they're out to save Gandalf from Saruman and the Wraiths, who were almost brought back to life.
Not exactly.
Well, they were ethereal at that point. Yet, Elrond's blade
They weren't
special.
at their full
Nipped
power.
that in the bud, you think?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just
all
like-
this during Lord of the Rings.
Well, therein lies the thing.
Continuity issues,
Is
bitches.
you can obviously tell that they didn't know what to do and they were looking for any way to pad it, and they couldn't really.
We need an action scene! Scene!
They couldn't really take a whole lot from the Silmarillion because the Tolkien
They
estate
own the rights to
basically are
that. They
still
don't want to
going,
use it.
No, we don't want you to make a movie about that just yet. So they couldn't really take a whole lot from that. So instead, they came up with scenes like this, where it's like, oh, well, Sauron's there. And then
Galadriel, step
some
up.
person who was actually thinking in the office while they were coming up with this went, how come they just don't kill him right then and there and then save us from having the Lord of the Rings? And Peter Jackson then went, you're right, but then the corporate person sitting in the room who was funding this movie raised his shotgun to the back of Peter Jackson's head and went, we're still doing this. And then he went, oh wait, I know the answer.
Galadriel's got this ring,
Saruman was going to take care of it.
Yeah, you know what? And they basically explain, like, oh, that's how he got corrupted.
And then him and Sauron sat down.
Which, by the way, we talked about it in the car.
Yeah.
They took some liberties with Galadriel that we don't know if she can do the shit she pulled off in this movie, but my God.
I had to rationalize it by basically going, oh, well, I think someone in the room saw, like...
Lights on. Oh, no. There we go.
Oh, good. I think someone in the room, like, briefly saw, like, a clip from the Lord of the Rings went, oh, hey, Galadriel can do this.
Off just to save power. Yes. Again, another Deus Ex Machina moment. They get Gandalf away. Sauron shows up. And all of a sudden, Lady Galadriel is glowing nice, not vibrant, but soothing blues and grays and dark purples, turning basically into the girl from The Ring. Just says, no. No.
I will throw myself at you literally.
Well, I am Sauron. Fuck you.
Well, no. Even Sauron, like, she basically goes green. She turns into, like...
Goes into negatives.
Yeah, that's it. She's basically the negative version of herself.
Basically, like, greens and blacks and stuff like that. It's like,
what? Who?
Okay.
What?
It's like, get
You
the
can
fuck out
you
of
can
here.
do this? Wow, and you kind of just kicked Sauron's ass?
That's what, like, happened when she saw the ring.
No, I do remember
she
that.
Went, like, all freaky
but it was
like
not that bad.
It was close to it. Like,
Well,
she went the same colors and everything.
See, that's part of the reason why I'm assuming someone saw that clip and went, oh, she can do this. And they went, no, she just did that to emphasize a point.
Yeah, but wait, she did it to emphasize him. What's the point? I'm your secret weapon. Use me to kill Sauron.
Actually, if that's the case...
Seriously!
Then, you know what? Here, I offer this to the people out there who keep arguing, well, why didn't the birds just carry them all the way to Mordor, drop the ring in Volcano? I offer this. Why didn't they just hand it to Galadriel? She takes it, drops it in the volcano, then goes over, and then whoops Sauron's punk ass because apparently she's the most powerful thing in Middle
Explain
Earth.
why she didn't at least take the ring. Frodo offered her the ring in the first one.
Yeah, she would have turned it.
Yeah, she actually explained
Then
why.
throw him
She
on the
would've
eagle too.
I'll ride.
Just
I'll ride
Galadriel
with you.
and Frodo go A-team on freaking Sauron.
Gandalf, drop it in.
Wanted by the armies of Mordor. They are a
Wait,
secret
wait.
task group.
I love it when a plan comes together.
We have Gandalf. Gandalf the Grey.
Legolas's face.
Legolas's face. Frodo
like
is
his face.
as what was it? Frodo. Oh, and fucking Gimli is Baracus.
Yet still somehow they have the van. So they just roll up in the van. Gimli now is for some reason
Oh,
black.
and then what was it? Oh, is it not? It's face Baracus. Fuck. What's the pilot's name?
Murdoch.
Murdoch. Then we got Samwise Gamgee as Murdoch. Actually, no, because he's fucking no. Actually, no. It's then we got Gollum reformed as Murdoch because he's bad shit crazy, folks. Two other things I think we should touch on before.
Really quick. Sam and Kevin, would you like to add anything?
'Cause we're riffing right now. We really are.
You guys haven't said a whole lot.
I also would like to mention the part where they had the women in the town when they were coming back to the town.
Oh,
The women were just like they kind of, it was kind of like touching on feminism a little bit, because the women were just kind of like, it kind of reminded me of like Revolutionary War.
Oh, it's
where
like,
the women were
we're gonna
go fight.
if we're gonna live with our men, we'll die
We're
with them
not gonna
too.
do it." And then you find little fucking asshole
Oh.
hiding out trying to be a woman, be like, no, I'm okay.
Fucking worm, the fucking worm tongue Alfred guy from the second one, who was like the master's right. What a sniveling little piece of shit that asshole was.
God, yes.
But he's supposed to be.
And also the bear, like the guy who was the shapeshifter, he was riding on the back.
Ah,
of the
okay,
eagle.
that was
He
one
They
of
just
didn't
falls down,
focus
he's like,
on that.
No,
one.
basically
he
what?
turns into a bear,
Okay,
and I'm just like, yes.
Our final Deus Ex Machina moment is like when they're all getting their ass kicked. All of a sudden, magically, the Eagles show up with Radagast and Bear Guy from the second movie.
Okay, this does not help because Peter Jackson has to know this exists. His entire staff has to know that this is one of the things that people have been getting on the Lord of the Rings for the longest time, is the whole eagle thing. This, I don't think, helps with that.
No.
Because everyone's going to be
No.
like, see? The Eagles did this.
Just gonna switch back and forth.
Delete lighting.
And I do know they explained in the book why the Eagles couldn't just help. I do know they explained that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they never do that in the movie continuity, which is one of the people we watch's top 11 things wrong with Lord of the Rings commented on. Wow. But yeah, Bear Guy shows up again, and then, he helps fight them with the Billy Connolly dwarf! Billy Connolly dwarf, man!
I love
You have been
the
chosen!
fight. Oh my God. I love the fight, and the dwarves, they were going to
Okay.
fight with the elves, and then
I
they
have
just
to say,
see
that's
the
my
orc, and
favorite
they're just
character
Like,
in
oh,
this
no.
movie, by the way.
Absolutely. I mean, as much as I love Oakenshield and Bard for their performances,
That's great.
What happens-
Fuck all of you. Billy Connolly.
basically what happens is, I really, does this happen in the books as well? His neighbor, his cousin helps?
It doesn't.
Oh, well, anyway, his cousin, Oakenshield's cousin, who's like the Iron Dwarves or something like that, comes in, and I hear the voice, and me and Mark both like, wait, I know that voice. It's like,
Well, because Kevin was showing me earlier, Billy Connolly plays a character in this.
I'm like,
And
oh,
I'm expecting him to be like some human or something like that because I read the name, Doran. And I'm like, okay. Then I hear some brief mention of like, oh, my cousin will be here. I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah,
Then
I
like
didn't know
they
he was
show
in the
up,
movie.
and they're like, Doran's here. I'm like, wait, that name sounds familiar.
And then we hear the
see him,
voice.
and I'm like, oh, fuck.
It's like, hell
It's
yeah.
Billy Connolly.
And right now, this movie is my favorite movie for this small bit of time. He's riding his war pig.
Hammering up, headbutting orcs.
Oh my God, I love
Even
the
without
elk.
his helmet on.
Yeah.
Friggin', I knew that elk were better.
Oh, yeah,
It's
it's
like
a-
a mix between
Legolas is-
an elk and a caribou
And a
like,
horse.
I was like, no,
I
not
was
horse, just
really
like elk
sad
and a
when that
caribou,
Yeah,
and I was like,
basically,
I was
Wait.
like, no.
Legolas's dad
Yeah.
basically, all his other mounts ride horses. No, fuck that. He's the king. He rides a fucking 10-foot high elk with antlers out the size of my car, and that thing is a beast in battle. So when it died, we were very sad.
Oh, dude.
There's a lot of
It went down hard. That has to be, by the way, screw Bill from, the original Lord of the Rings. Screw all these other rides. You know what?
No, I wanna-
Shadowfax, even. I'm sorry.
I wanna know
like
that elf's
Shadowfax,
name.
but Shadowfax is a bitch in comparison to the fact that this elk took out by itself
Taking down
dozens
shit.
of orcs.
actually, no. Yeah, more than that. Took out at least 20
On his own.
orcs.
And then the great scene. he catches like 6 or 7 of these orcs in his antlers, and the king just decapitates them all in one good clutch. Oh my god, it was beautiful. And then it gets 2 arrows to the throat and falls over dead.
That was very sad.
That was. I want to know that elk's name. Give him a proper burial.
I hope it was.
So there's so much more we could talk about, really, but we'll give our final thoughts at the end.
And
Trailers.
The last battle was just amazing.
I
I was just sitting there going, yes.
And they didn't milk
yes,
the ending.
Yes.
I like that.
You know what?
Yes.
You're right. I'll give them credit. They did not milk the ending, and they tied the ending well to the beginning of the Lord of the Rings. I will give them that.
Legolas, you will find this person.
Oh, that was fucking
That-
horrible.
That's too
That sounds
soon.
stupid.
That was fucking so
Well,
horrible.
no. Here's the problem: is the Lord of the Rings
Takes
I
place
was
70
saying-
years afterwards.
Yeah.
Takes place.
Yeah.
So
What?
wait a second.
Have you guys
Strider
seen
wouldn't
the-
even be
Have
alive.
you seen the
He'd be
extended version?
dead by now.
No, have you seen the extended version
What?
What?
of Lord of the Rings, all the movies?
No.
They say Aragorn's over 80 years old from living with the elves.
Oh,
Yep.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
actually,
that.
makes sense.
I didn't
now.
know that. Okay, never
No, that
mind.
does
During
sound very
moment.
familiar.
I didn't know that myself. Okay,
Yeah.
I got no problem with it then.
Well, I don't know.
So,
Dude,
yeah.
still, I didn't know Legolas was the one that found him. I thought Gandalf did.
Well, you know what? It makes sense now because of that. Good looking 80-year-old guy for that. So yeah, we got 4 new trailers. I've seen 2 of. Which one? 4? Did you just do 4?
Yeah, I said
Oh,
4.
okay. I've seen actually all of these except for the last one, but we don't have to talk about them.
Amazing.
I know you haven't seen the Insurgent trailer. I didn't see Divergent. I laughed every time I see the title. It says The Divergent Series.
Okay.
Insurgent. It's a legit title of the movie. I laugh at that. Oh,
I
that's
have
hilarious.
to say 2 things on that really quick. One, what the hell is going on to where buildings are floating around?
It's in her mind, I think.
2, why does the main actress kind of look like Sam's
I'm sorry,
sister?
I have to agree. Shanley Woodley looks a lot
Especially
like your
like-
sister.
Especially the
know.
nose and like the facial
She's got
structure.
the face. She almost looks like a spot-on image.
She looks like a skinnier, punkier version
Yeah.
of your sister.
If Jess just worked out a little bit more and like cut her hair, she'd almost look like a dead ringer for Shannon Woodley.
Yeah.
And dyed it blonde.
I've seen a different trailer for it as well. I don't care about these kind of
Yeah,
young
no.
adult series really much.
I'm
The Maze
sorry.
Runner was okay. I'll give that. The Maze Runner was okay.
Well, that's the thing is I think that
Hunger Games are okay.
this has come a little late to the party.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because all this stuff was popular maybe like 4 or 5 years
A
ago.
little bit.
The young adult stuff. Now we're moving
Trying
past
to catch
that.
up, cash in on it. It's just too late.
Yeah.
There are young adults out there who will still.
No, yo, don't get me wrong. It'll still
yeah.
make money because they keep making them. And then we got Chappie, which you said.
Hugh Jackman
I
comes
don't
back with robots.
Yeah. See, the thing is with this, is it basically, to me,
it's
just
Short
looks
Circuit.
like Short Circuit.
It's Short Circuit done by what's his name? He did District 9, Elysium.
I forget.
Neil Blomkamp, or something along those lines. Yeah, it's a grittier version of Short Circuit. I'm just like, Johnny 5. No, disassemble Johnny 5. Fuck you. I don't care if this is better than the movie. I love Short Circuit to death. You can hate it if you want.
Johnny 5 now have bling.
Johnny 5. They're teaching you how to do gangster
I-
slang. He's holding his robo crotch and stuff like that.
See, here's the thing. I would at least like to hope that maybe I'll like this one, but I
I have a
just...
feeling you'll probably like it better
Short
than you like
Circuit,
Short Circuit.
I'm just not a big fan.
Well, here's the problem with Short Circuit. Well, I can see. First off, it's very 80s. Steve Guttenberg is very
It's
hit and
not even
miss.
good 80s.
The fucking
That's the problem.
Indian guy. I can't remember his name, but he's not Indian.
He's white.
He's white. He's a white guy playing an Indian.
Yeah, he's incredibly racist
Yeah.
doing it.
Oh, I
Hence
just put
the
a
over-the-top
tremendous
accent.
Woody right now.
No,
Oh.
I thought he sounded like he was American.
No, he's Indian.
He
He-
sounded like he had an American accent.
No.
He wasn't trying to be racist.
No.
Oh.
That
Apparently,
Okay,
I
you-
wasn't listening
yeah.
very well.
He was
No.
he was doing stuff like, oh well, you know that
Oh, Johnny 5.
they said that sometimes you have to milk a cow. That doesn't mean anything. I don't know. Like literally,
Praise Vishnu.
I think he actually says that at one point.
You know what? You might be right. So moving on, we got the new Will Smith movie coming out in the 8th February, I think. Focus. About cons and con artists. It's got him, Margot Robbie, which I watched that trailer. I'm like, there's Harley Quinn and Deadshot in the same movie already.
I don't know, man.
Hey, it looks all right. It's better.
It looks okay, but it looks like one of the ones they'll just pass by.
It looks like it. Don't get me wrong. It looks like it's gonna
It
come
doesn't
and go.
look like it's gonna be anything. gripping or
But
anything where
for-
I'm like, oh my god.
Let's be clear here. For a Will Smith movie, and he's had some stinkers as of late, it looks like one of the
I
better
know.
Will Smith movies that be coming out.
It looks like a mediocre Will Smith movie.
Does it look better than After Earth?
Honestly, based on trailers.
Okay, let's be clear. You base the trailers, that's one thing.
No.
But we know how shitty After Earth is. Base the trailer off the movie.
We'll see. Sam is whispering
Wow.
something at Kevin.
The last new trailer we got, and we talked about this, Jupiter Ascending. It's got
what are you
Miley
guys doing back there?
having
Nothing.
sex.
Freaking software sex there.
Really?
So Jupiter Ascending, there's been a lot of unfortunate stuff going on with this movie. They had to like delay shootings at some point. It got pushed back from summer to February when it's coming out. I'm pretty sure February. And the reason they pushed it back is because the original screenings did not go over well with like critics and people who saw it.
It didn't look too.
And that's the thing, yeah. It's got Miley Kunis, Channing Tatum, I think Eddie Redmayne, the guy who played Stephen
Channing
Hawking.
Tatum's a werewolf.
He's half werewolf. Let's be clear about that.
I thought it was half
Channing
dog.
Tatum.
He's half werewolf. Well, wolves are dogs. Wolves are canines.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's. I'm trying to understand the plot of the movie. If I'm
I
getting
think
this
they're
right,
trying to say something.
What?
they're talking to each other.
I'm talking about how wolves and dogs are
Oh.
both in the family Canis.
Yeah. The best I can grasp from the plot is that Earth is a business planet, meaning it's owned by. It's kind of like how the Kree and the Skrull and stuff own like different parts of the galaxy in Marvel. Or a better terminology you might be able to go around with is how that Earth is nothing more than the sitcom in South Park.
Yeah, but in this case, I don't think that the population of Earth actually knows that they're.
No, they don't know that and stuff like that. But well, I can get there. There's like different dynasties that own different parts of the galaxy. Miley Kunis is apparently the reincarnation of a queen. Channing Tatum is her protector. Oh, and Sean Bean's in there too. I forgot Sean Bean.
He's going to die.
Probably. Very, very likely. And Eddie Redmayne is apparently the current head of a dynasty, and he wants her dead because he doesn't want her to take the throne or something like that. And I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, it doesn't look like bad sci-fi. It looks like pretty decent sci-fi. But Eddie Redmayne, you're up for an Oscar right now for Hawkins. I don't think this is gonna be.
I think he probably did this before he did.
I think you're right. I think you're very correct on that.
Also, I leaned over to Kevin during those credits, and I repeated the lines. Oh, I love dogs. I've always loved dogs. And I was like,
Bestiality!
Bestiality. And I was just like, oh, God.
Yeah, a little bit. Whatever. Channing Tatum looks okay. Miley Kunis looks fine. Sean Bean's probably gonna be good and then die. Eddie Redmayne looks like he's gonna be over the top probably. The effects work didn't look bad. The way they designed the ships in those was interesting. They're almost like.
See, here's the problem I see is this is going basic. Like, I want it to be good, but it looks like it's going to turn out like John Carter of Mars.
I liked John Carter.
So did I, but it got.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, we're right. In terms of just box office, John Carter bombed
Yeah.
big time, which is a shame because I actually really liked John Carter.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we got for trailers. Next week, I don't know what we're gonna do for next week. There's a lot of because this is the only movie I'm probably catching this week because my funds
Yeah.
are tight right now. I know Night
Same
Museum also comes out this week as well as Annie.
Oh
My
shit.
museum.
Yeah, that comes out.
I really want to see
I
that
want
one.
to watch
movie.
Annie with my sister, and I want to watch.
I mean, we can always do it. But on Christmas after all shit is done at my house, I know I'm doing a Christmas little marathon. Not marathon, but I'm gonna catch a couple movies to catch up on that.
On Christmas itself, Sam and I will be busy after 12.
I know I'm not.
Yeah, we're.
What?
gonna
Hey man, if you can't join me, it's okay. I mean, we don't have to. We can catch Night at the Museum another time. It's fine as long as it's still out and it hasn't been reviewed or anything like that. Oh God, next week, Unbroken comes out. Big Eyes comes out. The Interview comes out. Actually, no,
You guys actually finally comes out?
Yep.
Oh.
I take that back. The Interview's not coming out.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's touch on this real quick because I got a little battery left. So you've all known about the Sony hacks. I did a video on it. It's probably
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, well, Sony got hacked. And apparently these hackers mean business. They literally are putting terrorist threats on any theater that's showing the interview to the point where now they pulled the interview.
I was hearing
That's what
that those
that
were actually not connected or
was.
something like that.
Well, no, apparently
Like,
they were connected.
the
These
hacking
hackers are
is
doing it.
part of just like attacks that have happened on Sony. But then there's also been other stuff involving like Kim Jong Un.
Well, no,
just
that
saying straight
happened,
out.
but apparently it is the hackers who did it. And
No.
literally, Seth Rogen and James Franco were supposed to appear on, I think, the Tonight Show, but they declined or
Yeah,
canceled because
canceled it.
they're fearful for their lives. The FBI says they're close on these guys. I'm gonna give you the benefit of that and say you're right. The problem is, anytime I hear any sort of official anything like that say we're close to closing in, all my mind just says is keep the public calm. Keep the public calm. Don't tell them that we're not even anywhere near closer to getting them. That's what goes through my mind because half the time that's what it is.
Well, like, why would you even make like a movie about killing an actual leader that is currently a leader at this time?
It was so
in our
batshit
present
crazy.
Day, and you think you're not gonna get threats when they
Well-
already are friction with our country. Seriously.
Well, here's the problem: is basically much like everyone else, they were pretty sure that he's mostly just bark, no bite, and that is somewhat true. To where they're thinking that the threats are made to look like they're coming from North Korea, but North Korea is not actually involved, given the level of like
I
their
honestly
technology. and
think they're
everything.
not. I don't think they're involved.
They're actually thinking that it's probably some like really angry
Former employer,
ex-employees.
yeah, that's what I've been
But-
hearing. And this guy's just crossing this. He would have just probably been given some jail time. Now you just issued terrorist threats, buddy. Now you're gonna be put away for a little bit
Yeah.
longer.
But
Hope you're
honestly,
young and your butt can take it.
it feels kind of like one of those things where it was supposed to be a little tongue in cheek,
And now it's
being very like
Now it's just
humorous and kind of poking fun. at
But you
North
know, here's
Korea.
the thing: the only one suffering is us, the fans. Because what's going to happen eventually? I do believe eventually we're going to
Well,
catch
no.
these guys.
I don't think they're going to give it a theatrical.
No, well, no.
release.
Here's what I think: is what happens is we're eventually probably going to catch. I do believe we're going to catch these guys.
Yeah.
All they're going to do is probably bump up the release date to a different point in time. That's all it's going to be. They're basically
Yeah.
going to pull it for now, wait till this blows over, we get everything taken care of, just release it at a later point. Probably like maybe in the summer or spring.
I can also see happening what they did with 2 episodes of South Park, where
Was it
basically
the Osama bin Laden had Smarty Pants one?
no.
No. Okay.
What was
No,
was for
Muhammad?
for 2 episodes of South Park, they were hinting that they were going to show
Oh,
Muhammad. They didn't.
Ran low.
They only showed.
Okay. Here we go.
They only
I'll
showed.
put it on you. Spotlight.
What was it? They only showed like. Actually, it turned out to be Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Muhammad wasn't there at all, and they're like, "Oh, okay,
Mm.
that's it."
All right then. Well,
But South Park and like Comedy Central all together
they had some
had
issues
to
going
pull
too.
all of those episodes
Yeah.
to where you won't find them officially anywhere.
All
You
right.
buy box sets, they won't be in them. You go on their website, they say the episodes exist, but you can't watch them.
So final thoughts because I'm low on power right
Yeah.
now. I did like the movie. I think I like the second one the most of the 3 Hobbit movies myself. If I were to give it a rating, it's above average. It is. It's a good film overall. I'm gonna give it about a 7 because it really just feels like a giant climax of a movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sam?
I liked it. I don't really know which one. I wouldn't say I liked it. The second one more. I don't know. I did like. I don't know.